You were not born with discipline. You were not handed peace or clarity or control over your emotions. You do not wake up one day and find resilience waiting for you on your pillow. These things are built deliberately. They are forged through action, through discomfort, through silence, through daily confrontation with who you really are. That is the Stoic way, not philosophy as theory, but as fire, a mindset that is unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. This video is not about ancient quotes or romantic ideas about wisdom. It is about action, day by day, step by step. It is about building a mindset from nothing, one that can walk through chaos and not flinch, one that is not controlled by noise or praise or fear or ego. It is about becoming dangerous, not with violence, but with stillness, the kind of man people cannot read, because he is too focused, too grounded, too composed to explain himself. And here is the truth: most people do not need more knowledge. They need structure, they need discipline. They need to be told, do this today, then do this tomorrow, and stop pretending like you have time to waste. Because you do not. If your emotions are controlling you, if the world is pushing you around, if your confidence depends on how others treat you, then you are not free. You are soft, you are reactive, you are breakable. And the Stoics refuse to live that way. So for the next 7 days, you will follow a code. Each day you will practice one core behavior. Each day you will rewire a part of your mind. Each day you will become harder to shake and easier to respect. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. These practices are not complicated. They are ancient and simple, but they are powerful. And by the end of 7 days, if you follow them with intensity, you will begin to feel it, the shift, the silence in your thoughts, the clarity in your actions, the stillness in your breath. That is the Stoic mindset. So if you are ready to stop playing weak, to stop living emotional, to stop needing approval, to stop chasing comfort, and finally build the kind of mind that commands peace from the inside out, then listen closely. Your first 7 days begin now. Day 1 rule: the first hour before the world touches you. The first hour of your day is a battlefield, and most people surrender it. Without a fight, they wake up, and their first action is to grab their phone, to scroll, to react, to fill their head with the thoughts of other people before they even remember their own. That is not a mindset. That is slavery. If you want to build a Stoic mind, you must start where all strength begins, in the morning, in silence, in sovereignty. The Stoics knew that the way you begin determines how you stand later in the day. That is why Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations before sunrise, not for others, not to teach, but to remind himself who he was before the world told him otherwise. So today your first task is simple. Do not touch your phone. Do not speak. Do not react for the first 60 minutes. After you wake up, own your space, own your thoughts, own your breath. You do not need incense or a perfect routine. You need intention. You wake up and sit in silence for 5 minutes. Let the mind race. Let it calm. Let it arrive. Then you ask yourself, what kind of man do I want to be today? What situations will challenge me? How do I want to respond? You are not hoping the day goes well. You are choosing to meet it as a man who does not flinch. Then you move the body. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no excuses. Stretch, breathe, walk outside, do push-ups. The point is to tell your nervous system that you lead this life, not your laziness. Then you write 1 page. It does not have to sound smart. Just be honest. What are you avoiding? Where are you afraid? What lie do you keep repeating to yourself? What are you grateful for? See it on paper, own it. And finally, take 5 minutes to read 1 Stoic quote or 1 paragraph from someone like Epictetus or Seneca. Let it sit with you. Do not overthink it. Just carry it. The entire practice can be done in under an hour, and it will give you more power than most people feel all day long. Because while they start in chaos, you started with control. While they react, you reflect. While they chase, you choose. This is how Stoicism begins, not with theory, but with structure, with a non-negotiable hour of solitude and presence. Before the world screams your name, do it once and feel the difference. Do it for a week, and you will not go back. This is your first discipline. Rule the first hour, and the rest of the day will bow to you. Day 2. Voluntary discomfort to train the mind through the body. If you are only strong when life is easy, you are not strong at all. True strength begins where comfort ends. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They knew that the man who avoids pain becomes weak. The man who chooses it becomes powerful. This is why Seneca practiced hunger. Marcus slept on the floor. Epictetus trained his body to endure more than it wanted, not to suffer, but to lead, because the body is not the enemy. The body is the first gatekeeper to the mind. So on day 2, you will choose discomfort, not wait for it, not hope to avoid it. You will seek it. You will walk into it, not for punishment, but for training. This is how the Stoics prepared for chaos. They made their life harder on purpose, so that when fate struck, they were already harder still. You start small and brutal. Take a cold shower, no music, no distraction, just you and the shock of the moment. Stay in the cold and control your breath, not to survive, but to dominate. Then fast. Skip breakfast or delay your meal by 3 hours, not to diet, but to discipline. Feel the hunger and remind yourself that you control the response. Walk barefoot on the earth. Walk up the stairs instead of the elevator. Carry your own bag. Sweat in the sun. Stretch your body while it screams and stay there. This is not about fitness. This is about presence. Most people move to escape discomfort. You will move to train through it. When you feel the impulse to quit, stay 1 more minute. When your thoughts say this is enough, say good. Then we start. Because the moment you pass that invisible wall is the moment your mind starts to change. The voice in your head that says relax, take it easy, you deserve comfort, will begin to lose its power. And in its place comes a stronger voice, a quieter one, the one that says, I am capable, I do not need easy, I do not need praise, I am here to grow, not to coast. Discomfort purifies the mind, because it separates the real from the excuse. You will see your patterns, you will feel your resistance, you will meet your fear, and you will keep moving anyway. That is what makes you bulletproof, not muscles, not pride, but willingness to do what others avoid. Every time you choose the harder path, your brain rewires your tolerance, grows your emotional control, deepens your confidence, becomes earned, not imagined. And you begin to walk like a man who has trained, not a man who has only read. So today, find one way to step into discomfort and hold your ground. No one needs to see it, but you will feel it, and your future self will thank you for it. Day 3. Observe without reacting. Emotional detachment as strength. Today you begin the real work, the internal battle, the one most people never win, because they never see it coming. Face to face with your emotions, and not letting them lead you. That is the mark of a Stoic, not to feel nothing, but to feel everything and still choose reason over reaction. Most people are slaves to impulse. Someone insults them, they bark back. Someone disrespects them, they explode. Someone praises them, and they become addicted to approval. Their peace is constantly hijacked, because they have never trained themselves to observe without reacting. But the Stoic does not respond like that. He watches everything calmly, like a general overlooking a battlefield. He feels the rise of anger and does not speak. He notices fear and walks forward anyway. He sees the storm of emotions, but his mind remains still like a mountain in the wind. This is not weakness, this is power. It is strength, without noise, confidence, without display, control, without needing control over others. So today your mission is one thing. When something triggers you, pause before reacting, pause before speaking, pause before labeling it good or bad. You are no longer here to be led by emotion. You are here to lead through it. You will feel it when it comes, that old habit, the heat in your chest, the urge to defend, explain, attack, escape. And in that exact moment you breathe, you step back, not away from life, but into clarity. Tell yourself, this is not about them, this is about me. My response is my responsibility. Their actions are theirs. My power begins when my reactions end. You may not win every time today. That is not the goal. The goal is awareness, to see the emotional spark and sit with it, to learn that you can feel something deeply without acting on it immediately. This is emotional detachment, not apathy, but mastery. You do not avoid feeling, you refuse to let feeling dominate your reason. Every time you observe without reacting, your mind strengthens, your vision sharpens, you become less reactive, more responsive, less controlled, more composed. By the end of today, you will start to notice the space between trigger and response grows longer. That space is your freedom. That space is where the Stoic lives. Write it down tonight. What did you feel today? What did you do differently? What did you hold back from? And what did that reveal about you? This is the practice that separates men from boys, masters from reactors, kings from clowns. Watch yourself with discipline, and you will become untouchable. Day 4. No excuses, no explaining. Own everything quietly. Today you stop justifying, you stop defending, you stop making excuses for anything. Because nothing weakens a man faster than the habit of explaining his failures away. It is the quiet disease of the average mind, a subtle voice that says it was not my fault, I tried my best, they did not understand me. But the Stoic kills that voice on sight, because that voice is not truth, that voice is comfort disguised as honesty. The Stoic does not explain himself, because he understands that actions speak loud enough. The Stoic does not blame, because he understands that every moment is a test of who he really is, and he does not seek pity because he knows it drains the soul and feeds the ego. So today your task is this: own everything quietly. If you are late, own it, without a story. If you fail, own it, without a sigh. If someone misunderstands you, let them know. Speeches, no dramatic justifications. You simply stand on what you did and move forward. This builds something inside you that no motivational video can give you: self-respect, the kind that is earned through responsibility, not performance. You will begin to feel it grow each time you say, yes, I did that, yes, I fell short, yes, I was wrong, and I will do better, not because someone demanded it, but because you live by a code. The world is full of noise, people defending their image, protecting their ego, pretending they are flawless. Do not be one of them. Be the man who owns his actions in silence, who makes no excuses, because he is already working on the solution, who does not need the world to see his effort, because he has already seen the truth inside himself. This does not mean you take blame for everything. This means you take ownership of your part and refuse to be a victim, because the victim mindset is the enemy of the Stoic. Write this in your journal tonight. Where did I make an excuse today? What did I explain that needed no explanation? What did I try to avoid owning, and why? Then commit to doing better, not with loud promises, but with quiet improvement. When you stop explaining, people notice. You become mysterious, you become powerful, you become different. And that difference is rare in a world where everyone is shouting. So remember today, stop explaining, start owning. You do not owe anyone a performance, you owe yourself the truth. And you already know what that is. Day 5. Do the hard thing first. Let discipline shape the day. By now you are starting to feel it, the tension between who you were and who you are becoming, the difference between drifting and deciding. And today you go deeper. Today you train your will at the front lines, because the first thing you do sets the tone for everything else. This is why the Stoic starts the day with challenge, not reward, not comfort, not ease. He begins with the hard thing. Because discipline is not built when you feel ready, it is built when you do what you do not want to do. So today you will find your hardest task, the one you usually put off, the call you avoid, the workout you delay, the writing you never begin. And you will do it first, before the world speaks, before your mood changes, before your doubts start whispering. You will feel the resistance immediately, that voice that says just wait, do it later, warm up first. That is the voice that has owned you for too long. The Stoic does not listen to it, he uses it as a compass. The thing you least want to do is usually the thing you most need to do. You attack it because that task is not just work, it is a mirror. It reveals your strength or your softness. And every time you choose discipline over delay, your mind changes. It becomes faster to act, slower to complain, stronger to endure. You do not need to finish it perfectly. You just need to start it intentionally. You are not chasing motivation, you are building momentum. And once you do the hard thing first, everything else becomes easier, because you are no longer trying to avoid pressure, you are leading it, you are directing it. By noon you have already done what others will still be dreading. By night your energy is cleaner, your confidence is sharper, your day is yours. So ask yourself, what is the hardest thing I need to face today? Do not look away from it, walk directly into it with no story, no delay, no warm-up. The man who delays his duty becomes a slave to his fear. The man who leads with discipline becomes a master of himself. Write about it tonight. What did I face early today? How did it feel? How did I grow from it? This is the shift from scattered to structured, from reactive to resolved, from hesitant to hardened. The world rewards people who can do what is hard while others are still thinking about it. And that starts right now with you doing the hard thing first, letting discipline lead, and letting weakness starve in the silence. The world will not get quieter. The noise will only grow louder. More opinions, more distractions, more pressure, more voices, trying to tell you what to think, how to feel, what to fear. But the Stoic does not compete with noise. He escapes it. He silences it from within. Because power does not come from shouting. Power comes from the ability to remain still in the middle of chaos. Today, your discipline is silence, not just around you, but inside you. You do not need more opinions, you need more clarity. You do not need more scrolling, you need more stillness. You do not need more advice, you need more reflection. So here is your task for day 6. Cut the noise, remove something from your day that pulls your attention without giving you strength. Turn off the music, turn off the notifications, leave your phone in another room. When you work, spend 1 hour without input, without voices, without updates, just you, your breath, and your thoughts. You will feel the itch, the need to check, to look, to fill the silence. That itch is not curiosity, it is addiction, it is weakness pretending to be urgency, and you will let it pass. The Stoics trained their minds to be quiet, so they could hear the truth, the inner voice that only speaks when the external ones are turned off. That voice is never loud, but it is always right. It is the voice that says keep going. When you are tired, walk away. When your ego is triggered, stay calm. When the world is falling apart. Most people are so overstimulated they cannot think for themselves anymore. They are full of reactions, opinions, narratives, but they have no stillness, no solitude, no original thought. You will be different. You will make silence a daily ritual. Even just 20 minutes of pure silence every day will begin to rewire your nervous system. Your thoughts will slow, your breath will deepen, your clarity will return. And people will feel it. They will wonder why you are not rushed, why you are not anxious, why you are not distracted like everyone else. And the answer will be simple. Because you cut the noise, you train for peace. So ask yourself now, where is the noise in my life? Where am I filling my time? Instead of focusing it, cut it for 1 hour today. No story, no excuse, no exception. And write down what you felt during that silence, what surfaced, what did you finally hear that the noise was hiding? The Stoic walks in a loud world like a silent warrior, eyes focused, heart steady, mind still. Because inner silence is not emptiness, it is control. And today you take that control back. Day 7. Live by a code. Define yourself before the world does. You have trained your morning, you have faced discomfort, you have observed your emotions, you have removed excuses, you have led with discipline and reclaimed your silence. But none of it will hold unless you anchor it to something deeper, a code, a set of principles you do not betray, no matter how loud the world gets, because the world will always try to define you. It will label you, compare you, distract you. But when you live by a code, you cannot be moved. A Stoic does not live by mood, he lives by values. He is not pulled by popularity or trend or approval. He walks forward, rooted in a personal standard that no one else can touch. So today your task is this: define your code. Not someone else's, not a trend, not what sounds cool. Write your own code and start living by it. What do you stand for? What do you never tolerate in yourself? What do you do even when no one is watching? It can be simple. I do not speak out of anger. I do not delay what I fear. I do not chase praise. I train before I scroll. I finish what I start. I tell the truth even when it costs me. Your code does not need to be long. It needs to be true. And it must be written not just in your mind, but in your journal, in your mirror, in your actions every day. Because without a code, you drift, you adapt to whoever you are around you, become reactive, you chase easy moments and lose long-term clarity. But with a code, you gain something rare. You become stable, you become known to yourself, you stop needing permission to be who you are. You become the man who does not have to think every time a challenge appears because he already knows how he will respond. That is what Marcus Aurelius had when he ruled with justice, when he resisted corruption, when he wrote through suffering. He was not hoping to feel strong, he was bound to a standard. So today, finish this challenge, not just as someone who tried new habits, but as someone who decided to never return to who he was before day one. Write your code, write what you now believe, commit to living by it quietly, firmly, daily. The world will still try to test you, to shake you, to tempt you back into weakness, but your code will hold you upright. And that is what Stoicism is: not a costume, not a trend, not a mood, a code, a quiet standard, written in your actions that tells the world, I am not here to react, I am here to lead. Now you have walked through 7 days of battle, not against others, but against yourself, against your comfort, your excuses, your distractions, your emotional chaos. You did not just learn what Stoicism is, you practiced it, and that is everything. Because philosophy without action is just decoration. But when you live it even for 1 week, you start to change. You feel it in the way you wake up early, without dread, in the way you do not need to explain yourself anymore, in the way you pause before reacting, in the strength you find in silence, in the clarity that replaces chaos. You are no longer the same man who began this week. You are sharper, more still, more focused. You are no longer moved by every storm. You are no longer addicted to noise. You are no longer needing validation to feel like you matter. You walk differently, you think differently, you live differently. And that is just the beginning. The Stoic mindset is not something you finish building, it is something you sharpen every day, a blade you keep clean and deadly through ritual and reflection. So what now? You keep going, you take what you learned and make it permanent. Rule your mornings with intention, choose discomfort to harden your spirit, observe your emotions before they control you, own your actions without excuses. Do the hardest thing first every day, silence the noise that dilutes your focus, live by a code that no one can shake. That is your path, that is your structure, that is your armor. And here is the truth: people around you will notice, but they will not always understand. They will ask why you are quieter, why you seem colder, why you no longer need their attention. Let them wonder. You are not here to be understood, you are here to be unshakable. So if this challenge changed you even 1 degree, share it with someone who needs it, someone who is lost in noise, someone who is breaking under weakness, someone who is ready to reclaim their edge. Subscribe if you want more real structure, more ancient discipline from modern chaos, more silence in a world full of noise. And remember this: you were not born stoic, you built it, you earned it, one silent act at a time. Stay sharp, stay steady, stay stoic.